What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. In this video we are talking about the Nintendo 3DS and whether or not it's dead in 2020 or not. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so it is 2020, the year is almost half over, June is in the next few days of posting this video, and so I kind of wanted to kick around this idea with you guys about the Nintendo 3DS. Now, every time I make a 3DS video, you guys love it and eat it up, and I love the 3DS as well, so I was kind of thinking, what can I do that kind of works with that? And then I kind of was thinking, okay, so we've got the Nintendo Switch out here in 2020 that's just booming, and essentially that's going to be the replacement for the 3DS, if it's not already. But the 3DS is such a great system that everyone loves to play it. There's so many great games, and everything about it I love. So what I wanted to do here is kind of break it down and talk about the Nintendo 3DS once again on the channel, and I'm going to do this kind of in two parts. Now, the first part is going to be all about the console. It's going to be talking about kind of what it was, what it started with, and kind of where it's progressed to where it is now. And then once we do that, we're going to go ahead and move on and talk about some of the games. Now, there are a ton of games, and I have probably 20 to 30 3DS games, so my library isn't huge, but I have some of the best games on the system, so I wanted to talk about those as well to let you guys know that yes, you can buy cheap games that are great games for this system. So what we're going to do now is head over to part 1 and talk about that, and then we'll come back and talk about part 2. Okay, so let's talk about this console. Now, I have a ton of consoles for the 3DS, and for some reason I could not find my actual original 3DS. Now, I have the box, and I even have a few of the systems, obviously, but I just looked, I can't find any of them, so I'm just gonna have to talk about this one, I guess. So the first one was the Nintendo 3DS, plain and simple, nothing crazy, no weird names. It was a system that, or is a system that has dual screens, thus the portion of it was from the DS, which stood for dual screens, and now we have the 3DS, which is 3D, and honestly this system was great. It folded down, it closed over itself, it kept the screens protected when it was closed, the feel of it was great. It basically took the Game Boy Advance SP and combined it with two screens and made it absolutely awesome. So I have a bunch of boxes down here and a bunch of systems that I wanted to talk about, and so I'm kind of gonna roll through it. So at first we've got the 3DS. Now, it's a small console, it's not big, and for some reason I can't find that one, but we'll kind of go step by step. So now we talked about the 3DS, let's talk about the 3DS XL. So this is the 3DS XL, and yes, this is a little bit bigger. I want to say the screen got about an inch bigger on both of them, and so think of it as probably that big. Now, I don't know where mine is, which is a shame because I have some, but they're all packed away, I know. But this one is great. This is perfect. It's got those dual screens. I love the bigger screen because it just made everything more comfortable. Your hands are a little bit farther apart, which is probably more comfortable if you've got bigger hands, but everything with this system is great. Now, I personally don't use the 3D aspect of these systems, but that's just my preference. Now, it looks really good, and for me, 3D isn't a big deal, so I do 2D, but it does work well if you are interested in that. But then we've got the new 3DS XL, which I have a Monster Hunter Generations limited edition one or special edition one. Now, this brought you the C-Stick, which was a little bit more of a control. So basically, if you were playing a game with like dual sticks, that would work for this. And overall, it had a ZR and a ZL button as well. And overall, these systems are really quite similar. They're the same size, they fit in the same packages, they play the same games minus the new 3DS XL plays a little bit more. But then we also have the 2DS XL, or the 2DS I should start with. So I've got a Zelda edition of 2DS right here. This is a kind of a very simplistic, cheap version of the 3DS, and what it did was it took the clamshell and turned it into just a single handheld device there. There's no flipping, which meant your screens were no longer protected. Your screens were smaller than the XL, obviously, because it's just the 2DS, and there was no 3D functionality, which is fine for me because really I didn't use it. I like this system. I think this is a great game and a great way, especially if you have kids. This is a cheap version. I believe right now you could probably find one of these for 80 bucks, 100 bucks brand new, which is a steal. And so if you're looking for these, I've actually picked some of these up used for like 25, 30 bucks. So like literally, it's well worth it. And then next we've got the, what is this? This is the, I always have to question this. This is the new Nintendo 2DS XL. And I'm sorry, it's just because of the ridiculous names. This is actually a 2DS, and it has the ZR and the ZL buttons. It has the C stick, but there is no functionality of the 3D, which is cool because honestly I don't use it, and it brought those bigger screens that we got on the XL back to this, so I was very happy about this. Now I wanted to kind of show off some of the boxes. Now this is a new 3DS XL box that I have gotten. I don't know where the console is for some reason. It's probably stashed away somewhere, but it's a very simple box. It shows you what it looks like. On the top it says new 3DS XL, and on the back it shows you some characteristics of the system. So that's pretty cool. Next, I'm going to show off the new Nintendo 2DS XL box. This was something I got at a pawn shop for relatively cheap. It says 80 bucks. That's probably what I paid for it. It came with the charger and all that, so that's awesome. I got it used, so there's that. But it plays all the 3DS games in 2D. It shows how that looks. It shows you the new C sticks. It shows you that it has amiibo functionality. The XL has 82% larger screens and all that cool stuff. Next, I'm going to show off this Ocarina of Time. I already talked about it. This one, I believe, is the one that I have not opened yet, because I can feel the weight of it. It's still in there, and so this is a pretty cool one. There are a ton, and that's why I'm showing you this, are a ton of limited edition. There are special edition ones. This is very awesome. And down below I have a Nintendo 3DS Mario and Luigi Dream Team one as well. I've got a ton of these special editions, and I think that is another reason that I love this system. There are so many awesome different special editions. I think if you guys can see, where is it? I must have moved it. It was over there somewhere, but I had the NES version of it as well. I'm trying to figure out where I put it, but that is also another 3DS XL that I have. I've got a ton of them, honestly, that are boxed, so that's cool. So now that we've talked about the console, let's go ahead and move over to the games and talk about part 2. Okay, so I have a stack of games here. I made it kind of hard for you guys to see because I want to talk about them. The 3DS XL and the 3DS line, the 3DS and the 2DS line, are some of the coolest games out there that are still relatively cheap. Now, when I go out and buy a Nintendo Switch game, it is a full $60. However, the 3DS games are $40, which is an awesome thing. And then the price drops even more, which is a weird thing. Nintendo games, usually the prices don't drop, but for some reason the 3DS has that, and it's just awesome. And I know I'm smiling because of it, but there are a ton of good games I want to talk about. I'm just going to kind of gloss over these. Now, these are not the end-all be-all, but these are all great games on the system. Mario Kart 7. is the first one I pulled up here. I love Mario Kart, and this is one that I needed to talk about. If you are wanting to play a Mario Kart game on the 3DS, I highly suggest this one because it is so much fun, and I just love Mario Kart, so there's that. If you're looking for a Zelda game to play, you can get a plethora. There are a bunch of different ones. Here I've got Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. This is the remake, and this can be played in 2D and 3D, which most of these can do that. Very few don't, but this is a system, and when I say very few don't, there are a few that are only for the new 3DS, so I want to specify that. All of them will play on the new 3DS XL, but some of them were made specifically for that, which is weird, and I don't want to get into it. But Majora's Mask, this is a great game right there. We've got new Super Mario Bros. 2. If you're looking for a great platformer, this is one of the good ones. Now, I say one of the good ones. All of the Mario ones are good, so on this system, pick them up if you want. If you're trying to pick up a ton of coins and stuff, this game is great for that as well. I've got Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate here. Again, if you're looking into Monster Hunter games, this is a great one to play. I know a ton of people still play this game on the 3DS, and I know people love this. And Monster Hunter is a great game for that because of the functionality to be able to play with others and all that. You've got Mario, or Paper Mario Sticker Star. Some people like this, some people love to hate it. I like this game, and so that's why I wanted to add it to this list. I think I've got a few Pokemon games. Let's see, what do I got here? I'm looking. Okay, so apparently I only included one, but there's a ton over on that shelf right there. So I picked out Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which is a remake of Sapphire. Honestly, this system is perfect for Pokemon games. There are so many different ones. You can get Sun, Moon, you can get, there's a ton, X, Y, Pokemon Alpha Sapphire and Ruby Red. I think it's Ruby Red, right? Yeah, oh, okay, whatever. There's a bunch of different 3DS games that are Pokemon that you're gonna love. Continuing with the Pokemon theme. One of the last games that I got for the 3DS on launch day, Detective Pikachu. If you've seen the movie and you haven't played this game, you definitely have to play this game. I played this game and absolutely loved it. I just recently, within the last month, saw the movie for the first time, and so it made me want to go back to playing this again. I loved this game when it came out, and it was so much fun. I've got a Mario Party Island Tour. Mario Party games are fun on this system. Now, you don't play them as much, or at least I didn't play them as much with other people. I played them by myself and still had a bunch of fun. You've got Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D. Now, this is a great game. If you like Donkey Kong Country, any of them, pick this up and play it on the 3DS. It's so much fun. Fire Emblem Fates. This is Conquest. There are a ton of Fire Emblem games on this system as well. And if you're a person that likes those types of games, this is a great console for you. Now, I've got two more games left here. This one is Super Mario Maker 3DS, which is the 3DS version because there was a Wii U version and then this version. And this one was the fun version. And then we got Super Mario Maker 2, Super Mario Maker 2 on the Switch as well. So this is a cheap alternative to that one, which is probably still $60. You could probably pick this one up for 20-25 bucks. And then last but not least is the very last game I have bought on release day of 3DS games, and that's just because of how kind of it goes, is WarioWare Gold. If you like mini games, this is where it is at. This took a bunch of WarioWare games and mashed them together and created this, and oh my goodness, such a fun game. Okay, so there is my stack. Here is just a little bit of games for this system. I could go on and on and on. There are some great ones, and honestly, they're not too expensive. This stack of games, there are games in there that could probably be found used for 10-15 bucks. And some of them are more expensive. Obviously, But I want you to know, the 3DS has a ton of games and a ton of awesome systems. If you're on a budget and you are wanting to start a collection, the 3DS is perfect for that. You can get a system for dirt cheap. I'm saying 25, 35 bucks for that 2DS just as a starter. Then you can work your way up. And then if you had $100 you could probably buy 4 or 5 games and a 2DS. And dude, you'd be so happy. You'd have a great collection there. So I want to know what you guys think. What is your favorite thing about the 3DS? And also, what is your favorite game? Comment down below and let me know. I want to know what you guys think. I want to say thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification because it lets you know when I post more videos, which is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And honestly, one more time, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you stay safe, wash your hands, practice social distancing, stay home, do all that stuff to keep you and your family safe. And one last time, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you have a good day.